Hi everyone, welcome to The Modern Spiritualist, welcome to my website, welcome to my channel, welcome to whatever finds you here, and thank you for joining me. My name is Rahim. I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. I'm a student of shamanism, first and foremost. I am a Sufi, that's my chosen path, but that's not my vocation, that's just a part of where I speak from is Sufism. If you hear the bird in the background, don't mind her, she's just enjoying the talk. I sort of began to have my initial spiritual awakening around late teenager, 16, 17, 18. Around that time, I started experimenting with psychedelics with great success. I experimented with meditation with great success. But as I was moving through that awakening, there were a lot of tools that I needed or would have needed that were not in place for me to be able to contextualize my experience or hold the intense emotions that were coming up for me, and the way that this spiritual awakening was reconstituting my reality was sort of holding attention with all the trauma and conditioning that I had experienced throughout my life. And so it was really difficult for me to live and be effective in the world. I had a lot of issues with anxiety and depression as I was going through this. I hit my dark night of the soul, in my late teens, early 20s. And from this experience, I've been able to discover via my healing process and my transformational process what I have to offer because of the suffering that I faced and the lack of clarity that I faced in the midst of great internal and energetic change. And I know a lot of people are experiencing this right now. This is a great time of awakening. And people are looking for answers to contextualize that experience. And there's not a lot of answers to be found. A lot of the answers that are found aren't so good or so grounded. And what makes the most sense to me is to use these sort of spiritual, psychic activations that many of us are experiencing to be able to sort of reimagine the world from a place of greater holistic health and wellness and connection with the earth. And so through that, my approach is very shamanic, just because I believe that we should use these things to be effective in the world and to change our world rather than to sort of play in, this sort of spiritual playpen where we're having great ecstatic experiences, but the actual work isn't getting done, and we're not actually moving through our trauma. We've just found ways to bypass it and to be okay anyway, right? Which is not as good as actually moving through the trauma and becoming who you truly are, rewiring yourself up in your true alignment, mind, body, and soul, so that everything is holistically online, and from that place we can actually be effective. And so that's sort of who I am, where I come from, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So my approach comes from mostly shamanic teachings and Qigong and Tai Chi teachings and manifestation teachings from other coaches that I've sort of strung together to create my own protocol that has been very, very successful. To that end, I've been doing this for about 7 years now. When I began my spiritual career, I started in copywriting and marketing originally in the working world after years of food service. And when I began my spiritual journey after that, when I kind of realized after some transformational experiences that marketing wasn't going to work for me, and I kind of stood for everything that I did not stand for, I moved into Tarot professionally because I was very, very good at Tarot. I've been doing it on an amateur level for many, many years, and I finally hit the point of professionalism where I could use Tarot to sort of cater my shamanic teachings and bring them to people in a positive way. Through that work, I realized that what I really wanted to do was take it a step further, and instead of reading the energy and telling people how they can work with the energy, teaching people instead how they can actually create the energy, in the world instead, so that they're moving from a place that's fully creative rather than responsive or reactive in some sort of way. Really giving the power back to the people is what I really stand for, and that's what this carries, this work. People being in their power, using that power in right ways, in relationship with the earth, in interdependent relationship with each other, and in good relationship with themselves in a holistic way, so that all of their needs are met, the needs of the world is being met, we can do that in sustainable ways. That is the true vision. That's the true vision. And to do that, we have to do the first step, which is bring people back to themselves, get them centered on who they really are, so that from that place they can figure out what their true vision is, and they can use their actual skills and what they came here to do in purposeful and meaningful ways in the world. So this program, this protocol, specifically is for anybody that is a visionary, is a dreamer, and for whatever reason, they're not finding the traction in their lives. They have this powerful vision, and it's like there's always things in the way of them getting it. It could be things in the world actually happening to you, seemingly, or it could just be the ways that your own trauma or fear or mental health sort of gets in the way of your own success. I was a productivity blogger for a long time, so one of the things that I can bring to the table is just teaching people how to actually increase their sense of discipline via increasing their sense of self-worth rather than, shaming or blame or judgment. And you can be on any step of this process. You can be in a position where you just kind of feel like you've tried a lot of other things and they just didn't take. Or maybe you're not even clear about what your vision is and you're just trying to get a clear sense of who you are. That is another level that I can absolutely cater to. And so if you're sort of a spiritual seeker or you have psychic abilities and you don't quite know how to wield them well, I'm a great fit for you because I learned via mistakes and not having the right tools how to come into right relationship with my own psychic abilities and emotional intuition and things like that for a while were overpowering me and I just didn't know how to use them well. I can sort of teach you how to do those things in a grounded and safe way. If you're sort of if you know that there's more out there than you've come to believe up until this point and you're sort of reaching for answers or for a cosmology, I can help you codify a spiritual cosmology that actually works for you in the midst of a culture where it's really hard to know where to look because there's so many different things, and all of those things are valid. But I can help you figure out through your unique lens how you can be in right relationship with your spirituality in a way that's really working for you. I'm a good fit for people that aren't in a great relationship with their emotions. Now, I'm not a therapist or a counselor or a doctor, and I do advise that if you're having emotional issues that are getting in the way of your ability to move through life, that you seek counseling as well. I'm a great supplement to that kind of work because a really big part of my process was totally rejecting my emotionality, and I wasn't able to do anything else in my life until I came into right relationship with my emotions. And so I'm really good for sort of emotional management, emotional regulation, and moving out of emotional repression if that is something that you're looking to explore. And I'm a great fit for anybody who's just willing to do the work. There's varying aspects of that, of people wanting to show up to an actual physical table and make change happen in the world. I think that's great. I can certainly help with that, but I'm also a good fit for people that are really sick of their own story and the ways they've been getting in their own way, and they really want a life change. They really want to try something else, a new way of approaching life, and they're willing to do the little bit of homework that it requires to make that happen. Ultimately, I'm not for somebody who's not willing to do the work. I really need people that are willing to take the next step, one step at a time, really try things that are outside their comfort zone, and then see with dedication what results bring them. I'm a Capricorn. I'm very Capricornian in my approach, and so these teachings are extremely, extremely deep and effective and sustainable, which requires you to have a sort of sustainable approach to them, which means that you keep showing up. You keep showing up. I ask for warriorship. Will you show up and do the work? And it's not a lot of work. It's just a lot of work in the sense that to create a change in your life requires a lot of energy, because it requires energy to make a new choice. And so the commitment is, am I willing to make a new choice in the face of not knowing where that choice might lead me, right? So if you are in that place and you are ready to take your own power and use it well, then I'm the person for you.